Without a doubt, there are a lot of Tamiya Hotshot 2 fans out there. Last year when they released the Blockhead Motors edition, the Buggy was really well received, and I had a lot of fun driving it. And this year they have the Hotshot 2 2024. And this one comes with a black pre-painted body, the red plastics, and it's still a fun build-up kit. Let me show you what's inside the box. Here we go, guys, the Tamiya kit experience, all the parts bagged and boxed up, ready for you to assemble. Here's all the parts trees. You're gonna need a sprue cutter to get those parts off. Here is the bag of oval pinspike tires. Love the look of these tires. Comes with the white wheels. Here's the black body, pre-painted from the factory. As you can see, the spoiler is painted as well. In this little white box is the speed controller, and it's one of the hobby wing units. And finally, in this box over here is probably all of the hardware packets. And what's nice is these are all labeled for you. So you start off with bag A, you wind up with bag, I don't know where what bag it ends in, but there's your A bag, B bag, C, and as you can see, there's the gears, you got the shocks, the metal whip antenna, suspension arms, we got the shock bag down here, it comes with oil and everything. So yeah, I've got a lot of work ahead of me. You guys don't need to see the whole building process. It's gonna take a while, so I'll just go ahead and show you the end result. There it is, another fun model kit build from Tamiya. I had a great time assembling the Hotshot 2. I just have to throw a charged battery pack in it and we're ready to go out and play. But before we do that, let me go over the build. It just took me a few hours. I think I watched One Crazy Summer on YouTube twice while assembling this. A little bit extra time for the decals, but since they painted the body black, that made getting the body together so much easier. It's pre-cut as well. You don't even need to drill the hole for the body mount. But the kit itself, again, 4-wheel drive. It's got gear differentials front and rear, a mix of the plastic and metal gears, bushings, of course, throughout. There's a couple bearings like on the out drives. The out drives for the axles are metal axles out to the wheels. So you got the usual mix in there. The long center shaft is a aluminum dog bone. I think the original may have had the wire shaft. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a while since I've seen one of those. When were they released? Back in '87 or whatever. But the suspension, that's what really makes this thing unique. It's got the mono shock in the front, the 2 shocks in the rear. And as you can see on this kit, they're red. With the Blockhead Motors edition, they were yellow, so that was one of the changes. Some of the other changes are between the two are the red plastics here on the 2024 kit. The Blockhead Motors had silver plastics throughout. It's got the monocoque chassis. It's actually 2 halves that are bolted together, and then they got the skid plate and everything. And the top half of the chassis section is actually different between the 2 models. So that's something else. Some people are asking me, what's the differences between everything? So I'm trying to get everything down for you guys. Another change was the cage. This has a different lower cage set up to it like the original Buggy did. The Blockhead Motors had the taller cage with the separate driver in there. The body of the driver is actually part of the chassis on this kit and the head is separate, but I'm not sure which one I like better. I like the original version. Yeah, the Blockhead motor is really cool with the higher cage. Let me know which one you like better in the comment section below. But just circling back around to the suspension, you know, it's got the plastic suspension arms throughout and just the screw pins everywhere that we've seen in Tamiya kits I don't know how many times. It just goes together nice and easy. It's a model kit, it's an RC model kit, so it's a fun build, you know, and just the way it's powered, it comes with the 540 Mabuchi motor. Actually, the Blockhead Motors came with the tune version. This also comes with the Hobby Wing speed controller. I just left everything stock. I put the 17 tooth pinion in there. They give you a couple different pinions, which is really nice. But just powering this thing stock out of the box, it's fun as is. And if you've driven these in the past, years and years ago, you remember the sounds of the transmission, the power that the motor puts out. You know, for then it was fine. Today it's a bit slow by some of the car standards that are out there today, but you know, it just gives you that vintage driving feel. It is a lot of fun, and just watching these, you know, spiked tires rip up the dirt, it brings back a lot of cool memories, and just overall a really fun kit. We need to see this thing in action, so let's head outside and drive it. Well guys, I'm still searching for good spots to run, but needed to get some action in on this and definitely needed some dirt flying. Came over to the sand pit. It's a little loose for this, but I'm having fun. And just some old school dirt bashing. That front bumper is definitely digging in. Not getting too much air time off of these bumps, but those tires are digging in. Just had to get an extra day of fun in on the hot shot, guys. Just love hearing the chirp from that drivetrain. Kind of cool, you could just find a dirt lot with a couple ripples in the ground and just have a lot of fun. So guys, I need to get a little bit of air under the buggy. There we go. So I came over to Galley Mods in New York. I'll have the link in the video description below. The truck's a little torn up, but I'm here to have fun, and this thing is a blast. Take a look at how dirty this buggy is. That's because I couldn't get enough drive time in on it. Actually wound up taking it to 3 different locations. I was having so much fun. One was the really sandy old motocross lot. One was just a parking lot down the road because I was driving that way, pulled over and had some fun with it. And the last location was Galley Mods Hobby Shop over in New York. The track was torn up, but still made the best out of it and had a great time with the buggy. There's just something about the drivetrain whine in the Tamiya cars that kind of transports me back into the early days of racing and driving RC cars. You could hear that whine in this buggy. I heard it in the Blockhead Motors edition too. Got me all wound up, just excited to drive the cars. You know, they're not super fast. I have the 540 motor in there. It was just on a 7.4 volt LiPo battery pack, but it's just enough to get that exciting feel. Got a little bit of air off of some of the jumps, did some endos, definitely sprayed a lot of dirt around. Just a neat, fun experience. And same with the building process. It's a buildable model, and it's just so much fun to sit there at the workbench, look at all the parts, and just enjoy the build. Obviously, it's not a performance machine. It's more about the experience. Steering wise, it actually steers a little bit more in one direction than the other. I think it's a little limited towards the left. I think that's the shorter linkage. Yeah. And so, you know, you're gonna understeer a lot off the jumps. As long as the face of it's right, you could actually get some air where it'll land on the rear tires. And then, you know, there are some jumps where I endoed it. But I like with the new speed controllers now, the throttle is nice and smooth. We have that LiPo battery option. I was running the 17 tooth pinion and the motor was getting extremely hot every time. I don't know if I don't remember if they said to run it on that or not in the manual, or you know, I would definitely actually go with a smaller pinion. And if you're gonna be running it often, might as well save that motor, unless you're upgrading, of course, that's always the possibility. The one little gripe that I have about the buggy that I wish they fixed with this re-release was just some way to manage the wires a little bit better. I'm actually thinking now I should have placed the battery wire over on the driver's side of the car, because it's right up against the motor and it fell out the side. But anyway, just something to clean up the wires. I thought I had them tucked in nicely, but they work their way out when this thing hits the ground. If you are gonna run it often, I would say install ball bearings too. That's just an obvious with the Tamiya kits if you're running it a lot. But this one will probably be a kind of a shelf queen, although I did run them. I had a great time with them. I like my Tamiya cars. There's just something about collecting them. Now I have a question for you guys. Which one do you think is better? I actually posted it on Instagram in one of my stories, asked the question. And just before the poll was over, the Hot Shot 2 2024 edition was in the lead. But I'm curious to see what you guys on YouTube think. Let me know in the comments section below which one is better, which one are you gonna go for. I'll have links for these in the video description below. Thanks for checking back in at RC Driver. We'll see you back soon for some more videos.